right, what's up everybody? We'll go ahead and get started here in just a moment. Just sorting out some technical stuff on my end, but man, terrible day in terms of the weather. It's like 45 degrees, maybe just barely 50 degrees. Raining, cloudy, nasty pretty much all day. All right, let me sort out a few things here and we'll get started in a moment. All right, I think we're ready to kick this off. Okay, good evening everybody and welcome back to Walks and Wall Street. Today is Sunday, May 5th, 2024. It was a cold, miserable, and kind of dreary day here in Manhattan. Probably about 48 degrees, on and off rain almost the entire day. However, next week is supposed to be pretty good, actually. I think it's gonna be like 75 degrees most of the days. So fingers crossed on that. And I think this week ahead on Wall Street is gonna be a little bit less crazy than last week. Right, last week we had a massive amount of corporate earnings. Pretty much all of the major tech conglomerates reported. A little bit of a mixed bag there. We had a $110 billion record share buyback program announced by Apple. We had all of the major cloud computing giants like Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud now out of the way. They've reported pretty strong earnings. And most importantly, I'd say, we now have the FOMC meeting out of the way. The last FOMC reported a 5.5%. And it looks like we're going to be higher for longer. Now, as we look out even further, okay, not this coming week, but the next week, we get more inflation data. That's when we get the CPI number for the following month, or I should say the previous month. And fingers crossed, that gets us back on track to coming in lighter than expected. We're coming off 2 CPI reports and 2 PCE inflation reports coming in hotter than expected, which is why the Fed is taking this stance to really, tell the market that they are going to be steadfast in their journey to getting inflation back down to that 2% target. Now, even though we didn't get too many updates, everybody knew that there wasn't going to be a policy change in terms of the interest rate. There is going to be some changes as it relates to the Fed balance sheet. So the Fed balance sheet is mainly made up of mortgage-backed securities and U.S. Treasuries. The Fed said that they're probably going to ease up on the reduction of the size of the Fed's balance sheet. Now, there's really 2 ways. We'll quickly review this, and then we'll kick this stream off because maybe a little bit shorter than normal. There's really 2 ways for the Fed to kind of pull the strings on monetary policy. Number 1 is by manipulating interest rates, right? Raising or hiking or keeping them steady or cutting interest rates. But number two, they could actually manipulate the market, to use kind of an aggressive word there, by using the Fed balance sheet, which is made up of mortgage-backed securities and US Treasuries. They could either expand the size of the balance sheet, that would be considered quantitative easing, or they could let assets mature and roll off the balance sheet, which is considered quantitative tightening. Now, as we think about how the bond market works and the mechanics, as you have buying pressure, right, and the prices of bonds are getting bid up, the yields fall. So if you go to the St. Louis Fed website, once again, if you go to the St. Louis Federal Reserve website, you can actually look at the balance sheet in real time. You'll notice it's like a hockey stick chart up and to the right. And that kind of correlates with positive returns for the S&P 500. But we've transitioned from quantitative easing to quantitative tightening. And the Fed really doesn't have that bid in the market, buying all those bonds, keeping yields suppressed. So we'll go ahead and get started, everybody. We're outside the beautiful Sherry Netherland Hotel, 5th Avenue and Central Park South. Looks like we're pretty lucky because the rain appears to have just stopped. So I'll say hello to everybody in the chat, and we will get started headed downtown towards 34th Street, Penn Station. Alan, what's going on? New England Crypto, what is up? Tyler, Patricia Johnson, Crypto Meme, John G. Did you see the Dua Lipa concert? I didn't see it in person, but I actually turned on Saturday Night Live and saw a little bit of it. I thought it was good. I saw her opening monologue on SNL. I thought it was good. It was funny. Good stuff. Phil, what's going on? This is hello, Tom, and everybody. Brad's Brains. Good Sunday evening. Adrian says, how was your day? It was good. My day was good. No complaints. A little busy, and pretty much trapped inside all day because the weather was pretty crummy. Jimmy B, Sally, Dario, Trade Brigade, what is going on? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the comments in the chat about the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting that took place over the weekend. If you didn't get a chance to watch it live, you could always watch the recording. You could always watch the live stream. I thought it was really good. Thought it was really, really good, and not necessarily just from a basic financial standpoint, right? Talking about their holdings, talking about different stocks, and the overall economy in general. There was some pretty good nuggets of information just about, life advice in general, career advice. So very enjoyable shareholder meeting. And again, this is the first Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting without Charlie Munger. So rest in peace to one of the greatest of all time, Charlie Munger. All right, let me try to cross here. The city actually looks quite cool with all the rain. And I'm not sure if anybody else caught this, but there was a few times throughout the meeting where Warren Buffett kind of turned to his left and referenced Charlie. Over 30 plus years, even more of doing it, you kind of get in the habit of sitting next to the same guy. So I don't know. Anyway, it's good to watch for sure. Gene S, what's going on? Says howdy, coming from vids of storm damage in Oklahoma. What a stark contrast. Feels as if Oklahoma's been getting hammered lately. Didn't they just endure massive tornadoes, which was really, really horrible? Now, it's so cloudy in the city, you could barely see the top of 432 Park. If you look very, very closely in between the clouds, you can see it a little bit, but pretty much the top third of the building is completely covered. Near completely. Let me just turn on my do not disturb mode. Yeah, Gene says it's Fleet Week in Miami. I saw an amazing video on Twitter or X about that massive aircraft carrier coming into Miami. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. AG, what's going on? JK. It's not raining right now. It's kind of stopped, but it is a little bit crummy weather. Now, before I turned on the live stream, I just quick checked futures. Everything seemed pretty flat. I think S&P 500 E-mini futures, the ES was down fractionally. But all of the major big news in the market is kind of behind us now. So it's going to be interesting to see how this market reacts. The S&P 500 is still sitting below its 50-day moving average. We literally on Friday closed at the 50-day, but coming from the downside. So I think it's going to be very, very important to see broader participation, particularly from the smaller caps, and some follow through on those big caps that popped on earnings, particularly Alphabet or Google. Trump's back again. I saw everybody barricading everything off. Now, we mentioned this last week, but I think it's also notable to mention again. Last week, under the exchange column in the Wall Street Journal, they did a really amazing write-up of Bernard Arnault and LVMH, really talking about the business from a brand building standpoint, but particularly from a real estate standpoint. So LVMH Moet Hennessy, massive company, owns a lot of these luxury brands, recently acquired this company right here, Tiffany. They put about $500 billion worth of renovations into the building. And it was essentially a very detailed and concise summary of the real estate play at LVMH. Yes, they mentioned this building right here, Tiffany & Co., right on 5th Avenue, which stands right on the corner of 57th Street and 5th, but they really talked about the Miami Design District a lot. And I haven't been there in a while. When I go back down to Florida, which is going to be, I don't know, it's probably going to be the 15th. Yeah, it's probably going to be the 15th through the 20th. I'm going to be back down there. I really want to take some standalone video in that section, just to kind of, pick up on some of the notes that was talked about in that article. But in any event, check it out. If you just type in on Google, Wall Street Journal, LVMH, it's almost like taking an MBA class on business. Very, very good. Now, as I said before, when I was coming out of the office today, which was 10 minutes ago, I think Trump just arrived back home because they were barricading everything off. I don't know if he's going to come out or what, but my office is right on the other side of this madness. This is 721 5th Avenue. So this is the residential side of the Trump Tower. My office is just across the way there, and they were blocking off everything on that side. So get ready for another week of traffic. Get ready for another week of barricades down 5th Avenue. Seems like it's pretty much going to be par for the course until the election. New York is going to be absolutely slammed with traffic. I don't know. Does anybody know if the big guy is going to come out? Because if I don't follow any of these schedules, but if he is scheduled to come out, maybe we'll wait, see if we can get him on video. Hey, Arctic Paratrooper, what's going on? This is good evening, Tom. Welcome to New York City. Again, reporting live right on the corner of East 56th Street and 5th, right outside of Trump Tower. I don't think he's going to come out. I think he's in for the night. Joseph Hardaway, what's up? Paul. No, I have not had breakfast at Tiffany. I would like to, particularly after that $500 million renovation. It's really nice in there. Now, I haven't been to the top floors, but I've been inside the building, and they've done an amazing job there. So I would highly, highly recommend it. Yeah, Chris is arguably, it's always pretty slam with traffic, for sure. I just think now with, it's really been over the last few months, because it's not just Trump, right? It's been the current president, the current sitting president, Joe Biden, has been here for fundraisers. Then we had Bill Clinton in town. We had former President Barack Obama in town as well. So that's pretty much just clogged up the entire way too. Oops, let me just hide a little impersonator here. Oh, Chuck, yeah, that's right. He was in the Miami today for the F1 race. Was he really? So maybe he's not here. We'll loop around by the office. We'll loop around, go by the Madison Avenue route, and we'll just see if he's there. Now, speaking of Miami, if anybody's interested in, if you're local in New York, my boss, or our team, the Kirsten Jordan team, the Douglas Elliman, is going to be hosting a keynote speech, our boss Kirsten, at the Real Deal Summit, May 8th. So if anybody is interested in the real estate business in New York, you want to learn a little bit more about it, it's going to be great for networking. And I think my boss, Kirsten, is going to be up on stage right after Mayor Francis Suarez. So if anybody's interested in that, you just Google Real Deal 2024 Real Estate Summit. You can check us out, the Kirsten Jordan team at Douglas Elliman. I'll be up right after the current mayor of Miami. Now, I'm quite interested to see what Mayor Francis Suarez is going to say, because the title of the keynote is something along the lines of how Miami is giving New York City a run for its money. And to be fair, I think Miami in general, particularly the mayor, has done a really good job of attracting capital, attracting businesses, attracting entrepreneurship. I mean, they've solidified some massive deals, particularly Citadel, relocating their headquarters from Chicago, Illinois, to Miami, Florida. There was a big event going on here earlier today. But we'll make this left right on Madison Avenue. We'll walk up one block, and I'm just curious to see Trump Tower from the other side, just because there's really going to be no people on this side, so we can have a straight shot. Yeah, Esmeralda is like Miami's more of a tropical New York for sure. Now the thing is also, right, to Esmeralda's point, there's a lot of New Yorkers in Florida, specifically South Florida, Miami, Palm Beach. So I feel as if the culture, it's very like easy to fit in, because there's a lot of New Yorkers, a lot of Long Islanders there. You know, this shot here at 432 almost looks a little bit ominous, doesn't it? Kind of looks like you're in Gotham in a Batman movie. NBA Elias, good to see you. Fingers crossed this will be a less volatile week on the street, now that we have the FOMC meeting behind us. But we are going to hear from Neil Kashkari, I think on Tuesday. Oh, I think we're just in time. Let's see. Let's see if we get any action here, folks. Maybe we'll go one more to the other side. So Trump Tower is in, just for those of you who are not familiar with the, I guess, the geography in New York. You have Fifth Avenue there, and you have Madison Avenue here. So it's sandwiched in between these two avenues. So you can see everybody lined up on the other side. There's a lot less people on this side. Hey, AK, it's good to see you. It's funny, we actually have the We have the real Action Kid in the chat now. Before we had an imposter. So this is that atrium. You can kind of see a straight shot right to the front entrance of 721. Actually, hold on. All right, we'll give it 3 more minutes just because if we could see anybody coming down, and then we'll head out. Yeah, this is our office here. 575 Madison. I think we could tell when he's coming out because they're gonna have police cruisers move. So in the meantime, let's check out 432 Park. Stylish Bunny, what's going on? All right, check out this shot. So this is Harry Mackelow's building, 432 Park. Look at that. Really unique building here. And 425 Park's gonna look pretty cool tonight too, as you look down to Grand Central Station. It's very quiet, feels like, tonight. And this is Sunday. However, I think tomorrow the Knicks play. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I think Friday being the Knicks are going to be in New York. So assuming the weather's good, the city is going to be rocking, hopefully. Now, this is 425 Park. This is one of the newest Class A office towers in the city. Check it out. That's the temporary headquarters. Until Citadel could build 350 Park. Wow, look at that. Park Avenue looks like a complete ghost town tonight. Looks kind of cool. You're looking all the way down to 42nd Street. And then if you peek down in here, this is actually an art exhibit. Oh, nice. NBA Elias says, Tom, my neighbor and his wife is buying a 2-bedroom condo in Bay Harbor Island, Florida. Good price and a long flight from California, second home. That's so funny. We just filmed a video of Bay Harbor Island, and so it's an amazing place. So first of all, amazing choice, because Bay Harbor Island is unbelievable. It's very, very close to Bal Harbor. And the developer that we're working with on a project in Red Hook, Brooklyn, 199 Conover Street, if you want to look it up, it's a great project. We almost sold it out, almost complete sellout. 199 Conover Street, the developer is Red Hook Partners. They just got started on a brand new building in Bay Harbor Island. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be luxury condos. So who knows? Maybe you'll be seeing more of us down there. What a great community. Now, I was impressed with Bal Harbor, but I think I'm a little bit more impressed with Bay Harbor Island. One of the things that stood out to me the most as we're standing here at the Aston Martin showroom, there are crossing guards at every single light in Bay Harbor Island. It was almost like too much security, but everything is pristine. You just got to watch the video. If you go to our YouTube channel and you look a little bit further back on our 4K videos, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, Bay Harbor Island is fantastic. The only downside is the traffic is crazy. But I mean, the traffic is crazy everywhere in Miami, to be fair. But hey, Patrick, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Carl Roth. This is Tom. Any good books as of late? I don't know. I'm rereading a lot of my stuff. I'm rereading a lot of books. I would say a classic that I think is very relevant to the market right now, that I think everybody should read. We've mentioned it a bunch of times on the live stream. Real quick, this building is the Four Seasons Hotel. It's been closed since the pandemic. It's gonna open very, very soon. But it's called Life Cycle Trade. Very good book, Life Cycle Trade, by Eve Bobach and Kathy Donnelly, and it talks all about IPOs. And I think everybody should be very laser focused right now on the IPO market, because it's a very good chance that we had a bottom and you're going to start to see a lot more new issues come on the market, particularly pure play AI companies, which we haven't really seen yet. So great book there. This is the facade of the Fuller building. Patricia says you also like Brickell. Yeah, Brickell's good. But here's the thing. I don't know if I personally would want to live in Brickell, because it's too much like New York City in terms of Manhattan. When I go down to Florida, I don't want to be in an environment that's so similar to Manhattan, if you know what I mean. That's kind of why I like North Beach a little bit better. Sunny Isles Beach is really good. Now, if you want to live in a place that's right on the water, very, very safe, has really good security, I would check out Sunny Isles Beach. Sunny Isles Beach, Florida has some really, really nice developments that have gone up, and some new developments that are yet to go up that are in process of being constructed. One of which being the Bentley building. So right now you have the Porsche Design Tower. Looks like more police presence is coming up over there. So let's actually just make this U-turn and we'll see if we can catch the president, former president, coming out of Trump Tower. Now you have the Porsche Design Tower in Sunny Isles Beach. Right next to it you have the Turnberry, which is a really, really nice, it's called the Turnberry Ocean Club Resort. Check it out. It's a really, really nice building. And then right next to the Turnberry, they're going to be building the Bentley building. And then all the way down south, just before you go over the Haulover Inlet, you have the new Ritz-Carlton residences. So a lot of stuff is being built down there. Kate says Boca Raton and Deerfield Beach is not bad. No, I think those areas are great. I just want to be close enough to the action, but still be far away from it, if you know what I mean. So I live more north, but you know, it's a 25 to 30 minute Vespa ride to downtown Miami in Brickell, and less than a 5 minute ride away to the beach is great. Capri says they raised the price again. Well, not this coming week, but the next week. I think on the 15th, we're gonna get the CPI report again. So we'll get a better update on inflation then. But yeah, food prices have just gotten ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Briner says, wasn't he in Miami today for the F1 race? He took a photo with the winner. Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing about Miami, right? If you go to Miami, it's 2.5 hours. I mean, if you have your own plane, like I'm sure the former president does, you know, you could probably get back door to door in 3 hours. Interesting. I wonder if, do you think the motorcade is going to come through or something? Who knows? This is Sunny Isles Beach, all condos. Not everywhere in Sunny Isles Beach is condos. I'd say most places. There are some single family homes in Sunny Isles Beach, few and far between for sure. But Richard Wagner says, next too much, watch Bank of America and Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank's always had problems. I would say Deutsche Bank was the main, really the main bulge bracket that never really recovered from the '08 financial crisis, mainly because all the other banks dumped all their toxic assets on Deutsche, and they'd never really recovered fully. Now, in terms of like the stress to the banking sector, which we've talked about, and I think it's important to cover it, a lot of that stress should be isolated to the regional banking sector. And last week we had, yet another bank collapse, but very small in nature and very isolated to, guess what, a regional bank. And the problem with that is the regional banks have a lot of exposure to commercial real estate, particularly office. And I mean, if you've been living under a rock, office is not doing too well. Most office, like Class B and Class C office space, not doing too well. Elias says, what are we waiting for? I don't know. I'm not really waiting for anything. I thought it'd be cool to, get if the president's actually going to come out, the former president, I think it'd be cool to get that on the stream, right? I knew I should have brought the umbrella, and right as I left the office, I was like, you know what? I don't trust New York City. It's either going to pour rain, which it is, so we'll see. All right, we'll give it 2 more minutes. We'll sit here for 2 minutes, and if he doesn't come out in 2 minutes, we'll boogie. So somebody in the chat could be our stopwatch. Trump has 120 seconds, so if he's watching the stream up there, better hurry it up. I think the craziest I've seen it in the city was 2 weeks ago, when we had the current president, Joe Biden, was literally 2 blocks away at the JW Marriott Essex House. You had essentially four presidents in the city at the same time. It was nuts. President Joe Biden, former President Trump, obviously, with his court cases. Number 3, you had the former President Clinton. And then you had former President Barack Obama, all in the city at the same time. And you pretty much couldn't get anywhere. It was traffic backed up. It was nuts. Peter says his Boeing 757 is running late due to weather from Florida. Oh, so why is everybody waiting now? If the flight didn't even land yet, I mean, it's going to take them like an hour to get back from JFK, right? Anyway, if you guys are enjoying the live stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these streams every single night starting at 8:30. Yeah, Tom Smith, it is pouring. But it was pouring on and off all day today, though, to be fair. Sam says it would have been cool to see live. Yeah, it would be cool to see live. I didn't know that his flight was delayed. I mean, I think everybody here is a little too early, right? So maybe we'll just head out. What do you guys think? Should we head out? Because there's really no point in waiting here if his plane is not even in New York, right? It's kind of this, like we're looking at Trump Tower. Somebody said FDIC is losing credibility. Well, I think it's outdated. We need to adjust the FDIC limits, right? $250,000 isn't what it used to be. But essentially, here's what I expect to happen. And I'm sure many of you would agree because we've talked about this before. I think what you'll start to see, and you're already seeing it, is the big banks become bigger and you're going to have a culling or a hollowing out of the regional banks, unfortunately. And there's going to be like 2 or 3 games in town. You'll have like JP Morgan Chase. Yeah, pretty much that's about it. Because after you know what happened with Silicon Valley Bank, freaked out a lot of people, right? So why would you have your money at the 5th or the 6th or the 7th largest bank in the US when we've essentially solidified this narrative of too big to fail? You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll head out. Which I gotta tell you, the logic makes sense. After the Silicon Valley banking collapse, why would anybody leave large amounts of money with a very, very small bank? It's crazy, right? Crazy talk. Oh, cool. John Jones says, Tom, what's a good hotel for a first-time visitor? Age 66. Wow, first-time visitor at 66. That's awesome. What is your budget, John? Because my answer is going to depend on your budget. Because there's a lot of really, really expensive hotels in the city. But I'll tell you this, if you're looking for like a mid-range hotel, right? Very close to Central Park, or quite literally on Central Park South, check out the Park Lane Hotel. It's gonna be around $350 to $450 a night, but it's a very nice hotel. If you have some money to spend, I would check out these two. Number 1, the Peninsula, which is right here. And number 2, the St. Regis, which is right to the right of us. But those are going to be very, very high-end price points. If you want to be on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, The Lucerne's a really nice hotel. It's older, but it's beautiful architecture and it's not busy. It's going to be very quiet. Marie asks, Bryant Park Hotel is my favorite. Midtown, walking distance everywhere. That's a great hotel. We're probably going to walk past it pretty soon, here in a minute. Now, I have two favorite hotels in New York, like by far, that have totally blown me away. But it's like very, very expensive. But if money wasn't an issue and I could stay at these places every night, number one, it would be the Park Hyatt. So the Park Hyatt is at 157 West 57th Street. It's in 157, which is the first building ever constructed on New York City's Billionaires Row. The Park Hyatt New York is an insane, incredible hotel. Really, really nice. The restaurant's very good. The staff is amazing. A lot of the staff members there are really, really good friends of mine. So if anybody is interested in staying at the Park Hyatt, send me an email first and I'll make sure they hook you up. But number two, and there's zero political bias in this at all, the Trump International Hotel and Tower at 1 Central Park West. The place is unbelievable. And the reason why it's unbelievable is because the rooms are actually like physical one-bedroom apartments. You have a full kitchen, you have a 6-burner gas stove, you have an oven. It's literally like having a New York City apartment with just the best Central Park view you've ever seen in your life. So it would be those two. I don't know, what do you guys think? Anybody in the chat, favorite New York City hotels whenever you visit here? What's your go-to place that you visit? Gary Carpenter says I would take Hotel Edison. That's a nice hotel too. I feel like we walked past there 2 nights ago. It's close to Times Square. There's a lot of really good hotels in New York. SoCal Lawrence is the W hotels. Those are really good too. Brian's is the Hilton on 5th. Would you recommend it? Hilton on 5th. Hilton on 5th. I'm trying to think of where that is. I know the Hilton on 6th Avenue. Are you talking about the main flagship Hilton Hotel? That's on 53rd Street. Because that one's very nice. Very nice. Richard says, oh, cool. Yeah, near Koreatown. That's a good one. Stance, personally, I'd stay cheaper out of Manhattan and take the train in when I wanted to explore. It's a good thought, too. I mean, some people, when they're visiting, they even stay on Long Island. If it's the summer, people stay in Long Beach. Because the town of Long Beach is directly on the water, right? Quite obviously. But you have the Long Island Railroad. 40 minutes, you're in Manhattan. And then you could commute home or to your hotel in Long Beach and you could literally stay right on the water. Someone's like, do you have any hotel recommendations in Brooklyn? Yes, I do. Now, I'm blanking on the names of them, but if I describe them to you, it'll pull right up on Google, like very, very easily. I believe they're in Williamsburg. I think one of them is called the Water Tower, and it has this incredible rooftop pool and a rooftop bar, and you have unobstructed views of Manhattan. That's an incredible one. I just can't remember the name of it. I think it might be called the Water Tower, or maybe I'm just thinking of it because that's kind of what it looks like on the roof. So this is that Versace flagship store and they're doing a complete gut renovation on the inside. Now, a lot of you have told me that this is going to be Kim Kardashian West's new pop-up store right in here. This used to be the Eden Fine Art Gallery as well, and they've completely taken out all of the beautiful millwork and the marble and everything that used to be in the Versace flagship. Stylish Bunny, I'm not too sure if that's called the Arlo Hotel. I'm actually almost positive it's not. It'll come to me pretty soon. Oh, is it the Arlo in Williamsburg? Huh, maybe you're right. If some of the pictures that you're looking at on Google Maps are like, it looks like a massive water tower on the top. There's a rooftop pool. I think that cab guy is getting pulled over. But anyway, yeah, if it has the pool on the roof, that's it. Hey Prince, says I had a job offer on Wall Street and I just moved to the West Coast because New York City sucks. Nice. Well, I mean, Wall Street's pretty broad. I mean, you could work on Wall Street anywhere. Photos from around New York. This is the Arlo Williamsburg. Used to be called the Williamsburg Hotel. I'll take your word for it. It's probably it. But yeah, that place is pretty cool, especially in the summer. I had like a corporate event there 2 or 3 years ago. Hey, Daniel G from Buenos Aires. Good to see you and welcome to the stream. Yeah, NBA Lies, it seems to be $866 for Williamsburg. Is it expensive for that area? You know, like I said before on previous live streams, some parts of Brooklyn are on par with Manhattan in terms of the price. Like Dumbo, Brooklyn now, crazy expensive. Williamsburg, crazy expensive. So over the past couple of years, it's been crazy in the price appreciation. Lots of new development too. It's just a trendy neighborhood. It's a trendy market. I kind of compare it to Long Island City. That's another market or neighborhood in New York that used to be relatively affordable, but now, I mean, if you meet someone and they say, hey, I live in Long Island City, chances are they're paying crazy amount of money in rent, almost similar to what you would pay in Manhattan. I mean, if you can go and look at the skyline of Long Island City in the year 2010 and look at it right now, total difference. A lot of these luxury skyscrapers have been going up with amenities, and I mean, the area's changed completely. LIC, totally changed. Colton Manning, what's going on? Good to see you walking past the Rainbow Room. That's another location. Robert V's Carroll Gardens, just as expensive. Yeah, Carroll Gardens very expensive. We're working on this deal for this beautiful, beautiful brownstone in Cobble Hill. That is premium. That's like top tick pricing. But then again, you know, I believe you kind of get what you pay for. And if you've ever been to Cobble Hill, Brooklyn, I mean, the place is beautiful. It's not the neighborhood I would want to live, but it's beautiful. If you've seen some of those original brownstones, it's a spectacular place. There's Radio City Music Hall. Oh, for those of you who are just joining, so if anybody is in New York City and you're interested in real estate or the real estate market, our team, or my boss, is going to be speaking at the Real Deal event right after Mayor Francis Suarez goes on stage. It's May 5th, or excuse me, it's May 8th, and there's going to be tons and tons of, you know, great speakers, some major real estate developers from New York and Miami. You're going to be speaking there, and our team is going to be highlighted. So if you want to find it a little bit more, or you're curious about the team we have here at the Kirsten Jordan team at Douglas Elliman, check it out. I think tickets are like $100, and you'll be able to get the lowdown on New York City and Miami real estate. I'm very, very excited to hear the mayor of Miami speak. Very interested. So if you go to therealdeal.com, you can check it out. It's quite the contrast to last night, right? Last night, there was so many people in the city. Sunday night, everybody has to work tomorrow. It's very quiet, very peaceful. If you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these every night starting at 8:30. Greg says, Tom, has it been raining all day? Oh my gosh, man. Today has been horrible with the weather. Horrible, horrible. But supposedly it's supposed to warm up. It's supposed to be like 70 degrees by Wednesday, so not going to complain too much. I mean, I'm wearing a winter jacket tonight. I feel like it's February. Today it felt like a winter day in New York, even though it's May, which is crazy. But that's kind of par for the course in New York City. May is either a really, really nice month, where it's beautiful, or it's just, you know, gray, rainy, and nasty. So we'll see. The month is still early. The weather's been kind of horrible, but there's still time to turn it around. I think we had like 2 nice days, which was quite nice. We'll see. Yeah, the F1, everybody's talking about the F1 event in Miami. And last week you had the official opening of the Aston Martin residences in downtown Miami. So perfect timing for it, for sure. That's almost a complete sellout. Actually, I think it is a complete sellout now. Last time we were down there, it was like 99% sold out. I think they had 2 units available. Now, here's my concern about the Aston Martin residences, right? Obviously, there's no occupants. I don't think they have the COI yet. But once they have the certificate of occupancy and everybody moves in, how is that going to work logistically? Because it's that one tiny, tiny road that comes over the bridge, the Brickell Bridge, right? From Brickell to downtown Miami. You're going to have like gridlock, bumper to bumper traffic pretty much almost every day, assuming, you know, all the residences are present, or even at least 50 of them. I don't think Miami thought that through yet. I think there needs to be better infrastructure. Maybe a little bit better public transportation too. Damn, trade brigades of snow in Utah. Oh my God. You have cousins living out there? I couldn't do that. In May, snow? Whew. Well, look, I guess some people like it. I don't know if I could do it though. Could not do that. Snow in the middle of May? Nuh-uh. All right, let me close up the umbrella. Looks like it stopped. I'm gonna put you guys on the ground. I'll give you a little bit of rat camera action. Barclays, the old Lehman Brothers. Oh yeah, that's right, Trade Brigade. You would. If you want to be like in a city, kind of like New York, have that kind of like that feeling, like, you know, the action is 24/7, I would say go to Brickell, but it's going to be quite expensive. However, I think you'd really like North Beach because the transportation is free. They have trolleys that'll bring you to South Beach. You have the bus that'll bring you to downtown Miami. And you could even rent like a Vespa. I mean, if you're going to be there for like 2-3 months, $500, you could rent a Vespa for the full 3 months and cruise around Miami. I think you're gonna have a good time. So check out North Beach. That's like kind of 72nd Street, Collins Avenue. And 20 minutes, you're in downtown Miami and Brickell. You live right on the water. And 10 minutes, you're in South Beach. It actually looks like it's pretty busy tonight in Times Square. Oh, NAV 407 says Southern Ontario frequently gets snow in May, but it never hangs around for more than a day. Ontario is another place that Well, I'll say this. I see a ton of license plates, Ontario license plates in Miami. For whatever reason, Canadians absolutely love South Florida. If you go to Miami, I'd say anywhere between end of December until probably around, like right around this time, you're gonna see a ton of license plates from Canada. The Canadians love the state of Florida. They love New York City too, but when it's warm, let's say that. Oh, is that right, Paul? Dua Lipa performed in Times Square right before we started. Oh yeah, so Trade Brigade, the best cafe of all time, right? Like if you just want to work from a cafe or something. My favorite spot ever, right? The best coffee in the world is at that Cachito Coffee and Bakery. So that if that's your thing, that's your spot. And you know, if I had the money right now to buy something, and if you had to tell me like, okay, you had to pick a neighborhood that's going to be really up and coming, I'd say North Beach. You're seeing a lot of that. You're seeing a lot of new development there. Like 72 Park is that really cool new development right on 72nd Street and Harding Avenue. Now the neighborhood is nicknamed Little Buenos Aires. So if you like steakhouses, if you like all that stuff, you know, it's very walkable. You can get up, you know, get a nice workout on the boardwalk, on the beach. Check it out. I think you'll like it. Even if it's just for a day. If you got to fly there for a day, check it out. Yeah, NBA Alliance, most Canadians only have about 2 months out of the year of good weather. Yeah, I don't know how they do it, man. Now, think about that for a moment, right? And all of you know, I'm probably the biggest cheerleader for America than anybody on this planet. That's what's so amazing about America, is because pretty much all year round, you could be in tropical paradise, right? You could be in Key West, 85 degrees, beautiful sunshine. And then you jump on a plane, you're in the same country, and you could have some of the best skiing in the world, the best snowboarding in the world, right? And you never have to leave the country. I think that's what's so unique about the US and why our country is so great, because we literally have everything. We have everything for everybody. If you like hiking, you know, you can move somewhere in the United States where you have the best hiking in the world. If you like boating, you can move somewhere in the US where you have the best hiking in the world, or best boating in the world. If you like fishing, I mean, I could go on and on and on. You almost never have to leave the United States of America to find what you like. Let's say if you want to be in the middle of the greatest city on planet Earth, right here in the United States, New York City. If you want to be out in the boondocks, you know, and live in the mountains somewhere, you can. It's like, it's such an amazing country. It's awesome. I don't know why anybody would want to leave. And by and large, they don't, right? My boss, well, former boss, sent me this interesting stat, and he kind of uses it as his sentiment gauge on America. And it's the amount of people who renounce their citizenship every year in comparison to other countries. It's pretty laughable. Almost nobody wants to leave America, but pretty much everybody wants to come. And that's a good thing, right? That's what keeps the economic powerhouse that we call the United States of America going. Oh, speaking of the Hotel Edison, here it is. I feel like somebody was talking about this today. It's the front doors right here. Hey, Ann R. Thanks for joining us. I think it's starting to rain again. New England Cryptos, the Scientology building down the street. Yeah, it's right here. Let's check it out. Yeah, this is the Church of Scientology of New York, right here. Frederick says San Francisco is the best city. Yeah, San Francisco is an amazing city that a lot of people are very negative on right now. There's a lot of people that are very, very negative on San Francisco. You know, I think if it was a 50-50 toss-up and somebody said, okay, if you had to go long San Francisco or short, I mean, I'd say long every single time. Yeah, Darren, San Diego, oh my God, I mean, talk about great weather, okay? And pretty much you have a picture-perfect day every single day without fail. Yeah, that's San Diego. Very jealous. I could definitely see myself living in San Diego, California. Pretty much anywhere that's sunny the majority of the year, I can get down with that. I could live there for sure. And that's the thing, right? Once all of our great cities in America start to turn the corner and turn around, which I would argue we're already in the process of that, I mean, it's game over. It's game over, my friends. Tatted T says, Tom, Southern California is not sunny every day. You may be disappointed. I might be disappointed then. See, the way I envision SoCal is sunny every day, the beach, everybody working out and lifting weights on the beach. That's kind of like the narrative that was sold to me as it relates to Southern California. Yeah, Anna says Colorado 85% sunny. Well, I was looking into Denver. I think Denver's a great town. Lots of good things to say about Denver. I just think it's a little bit too far away from New York. Someone says if you don't have insurance here or have a major illness, it will cripple you. I tend to worry about that aspect. Yeah, I mean, true. Now, for the most, like, if you have some freak accident, right, and you don't have insurance, it's over, to your point. That's just kind of the risk you take. But if you're a regular kind of healthy person and, you know, knock on wood, assuming no freak accidents, healthcare is actually pretty affordable for basic stuff, paying out of pocket. Now again, for basic stuff, like just going to a doctor's visit, doing routine things, but anytime you get into testing and surgeries, if you don't have insurance, good luck. So you are pretty much right on the money with your comment. I agree. Brian Pro says, I think California has some potential. Well, California is, I mean, just put it in perspective, California, their economy is bigger than most countries on this earth. I mean, it is an economic powerhouse of America. And again, you know, generally speaking, people want to live where it's desirable. And California as a state, just like New York, it has so much to offer. Right, not everywhere in California is beautiful weather and it's hot. You know, you could live in Northern California and it's going to be moderate temperatures, cold, you'll have snow, you could go skiing. You know, there's a lot of stuff to do, which is kind of similar in a way to New York. You know, many of you watching this live stream, if you're not from New York, you think that all of New York State is like this. Most of New York State is not like this. It's actually the opposite of this, right? This is just a little tiny sphere. It's like a nothing. New York State is huge. Upstate New York, you know, the southern tier, western New York, central New York. It is a massive, massive state. New York City is just a little tiny fraction of what the state has to offer. Very, very tiny. All right, we have the light, so let's cross. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like in the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. Yeah, DH is the Finger Lakes. There you go. Oh, I hope he's all right. This food delivery bike guy just wiped out. Now, I'll give you a quick tip, and this is from learning from experience. The bike lanes, right? When it rains, this might as well be skating on ice. So, particularly if you're a skateboarder, do not skateboard when it rains in New York City. You will crash and have a serious accident. And that's from experience. It's so slippery. I feel like they need to make the bike lanes in New York like a little bit grippy. The paint that they use, this really bright green paint, that gets so slippery. They need to make it more, they need to make it like a rubber tarmac almost, kind of, in my opinion. Hey, Juan Carlos, what's going on? Good to see you, Juan. Trade Brigade's scar on my eyebrow from skating home from high school, never again. Yeah, I think one of the worst wipeouts I've had on my skateboard, I caught on video, I think. It's in one of my older videos that I posted on YouTube. Totally blew my whole side open. And the reason why I wiped out, I'll see if I could find one. Every so often you have these, it's almost like it's like a rebar. It's like this iron or steel rebar sticking up out of the ground, and it's like an inch thick stub of rebar sticking out, and my wheel caught that and I just went flying right into a city bus. I'm gonna pay close attention to the street, see if I see one, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Most of the times they're in the bike lanes, or not the bike lanes, the bus lanes. Now, here we have the New York Times building. Now, you know what's a stock that has been getting absolutely hammered since the tech crash of 2021? Datadog. The ticker symbol is DDOG, but the company has reported 3 back-to-back very, very solid quarters, and the stock is really starting to turn around. So if Datadog can break into new highs, I'll probably be buying that in the new highs. Right, not a recommendation of anything, but I have some friends who work at the company. It's a very good company. I applied there, I didn't get the job. Not sour about it. Maybe I am a little bit sour about it, but they have an office right here. 620 8th Avenue. Datadog, ticker symbol DDOG. Trying to make some headway after being down, I think, like 82% from all-time record high. Hey Dennis, says, hey Tom, the video quality looks great. What video camera are you using? So we broadcast on an iPhone 13 mini, and we use the Prism Live streaming software, which is pretty good. Last year, I mean, my God, was this thing so buggy. I'm sure you all remember that. There was probably 2 or 3 months straight where the chat was down, couldn't see the chat. But maybe they have hired some really, really top tier engineers, because all of the bugs in this software are pretty much gone. This used to be the buggiest and most glitchy live stream software ever. Joel PM says, will you ever share your watch list? Yeah, I mean, pretty much a lot of the stuff we talk about repeatedly, like all the top stocks, like those are them, right? A lot of the individual stocks that we, cover in the newsletter. Essentially, if you run a screen on the market, right, and you have a company that's coming off at least 3 beat and raise earnings reports, with the stock trading at or near 52-week highs into a new all-time record high, and the thing has liquidity, I'm probably in it, or it's probably on the watch list. Like, that is the criteria. EPS growth, earnings per share growth, 25% per annum minimum. If I'll give you an example. Let me just wipe the camera lens. Like, the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting was this weekend, right? And, Buffett's claim to fame is just kind of keep it simple. If you have companies that consistently churn out earnings over time, stock's probably going to go up, right? If company XYZ earns $5 in 2023, it's projected to earn $10 in 2024, and in 2025 the estimates are for $26 worth of EPS. Stock's probably going to go up. Oops, hold on. Now, there's a lot of research and there's a lot of data about former true market leaders, right? And I believe we talked about this in the last newsletter. There's a lot of people right now trying to bottom fish on a lot of these former leaders in the market, like the Teladocs, TDOC, the Pelotons of the world. There's significant research that says once the majority of the times, if a stock tops and goes down 50%, there's a 75% chance it goes down another 50%. I'll say that again. If the stock tops and goes down 50%, there's a 75% chance the stock goes down an additional 50%. That's huge. So that pretty much means once a stock is cooked, it's cooked. It's done for a very, very long time. So that's why it's kind of contrary to what, most people think. Most people think, oh, I would never buy a stock, it's trading at all-time highs. I missed the move. No, that's the stuff that you want to be in. You want to be in the names that are trading at their 52-week highs or into new all-time record highs. Because oftentimes they're trading near record highs for a reason. It's kind of like the basketball underwater effect. If the general market is in a correction, which is actually in a correction right now, pay very, very close attention to the companies who are bucking the overall trend of the market, right? Generally speaking, 7 out of 10 stocks will follow the overall trend of the market. So if you have a market in correction where the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, is down 5% plus, which is a normal correction, even a 12% pullback in a major index is normal. if there's a specific stock or a specific sector that is going up or maybe just going down less, that's probably going to be the sector that leads once the market turns around. And if you work backwards, what does this thing say? Look at this cartoon. What does that say? For a VPN. I thought it was something different. Anyway, and if you can kind of work backwards from this, you could say, oh wow, this stock has been performing really well. If you work backwards, you'll usually find a specific set of characteristics as to why. And it always comes down the majority of the time to revenue growth and earnings growth. Over time, investors will reward and be rewarded by companies who show earnings power. That's why almost never, like never, I don't buy penny stocks. I don't trade penny stocks. Obvious two reasons. Number one, there's no earnings there. And number two, there's no liquidity, right? You want the big players, all the best mutual funds, all the best hedge funds, all the best, money managers on the street. You want them in those names. If you're dabbling around and speculating in penny stocks, they are not in those names. I know for a fact that it's public record they're not in those names. Number one, there's not enough liquidity for them to be in there, right? They would just be moving the stock around left and right. But number two, a lot of times they physically can't. The Fidos of the world, the Fidelities, the BlackRocks, and even just some very notable investors like the Barron funds, Ron Barron, they can't dump their clients' money in companies that don't make any money or don't have a clear trajectory to profitability. They can't do it. That's their fiduciary duty to their investors or their clients. Wow, this is kind of a cool shot. Look at that. (34th Street). We're looking at Madison Square Garden. This is a little crazy. Look at that. Now, I don't know if the Empire just doesn't have its lights on today, but you can't see the Empire State Building at all. That's how hazy and nasty it is outside today. Nancy says, do you think 3M will ever go back up? Didn't 3M report earnings last week? Or did they report this week? I feel like they reported last week. Is that right? I don't know how they reported. Maybe somebody could Google that. How did 3M report? Now, that company's been having a lot of problems. We've talked about, I think they've settled all their litigation with the military. I think there was some big lawsuit against 3M. Allegedly, they were selling faulty earplugs to the military. I'm not too sure if that's ever been rectified, but a lot of these stocks, when they collapse like that, I just don't even look at them. Like, they don't even show up on my radar just because it's not worth it to you. Their relative strength is like 20. All the leaders, for a stock to make a new all-time record high, it has to break through its previous high, right? I know that's like so obvious, but I think just to break it down like that, the stock's going to have to break its all-time record high to get into new highs. And if 3M has all of this overhead, that means there's a lot of people who bought the stock way higher, that a lot of those shares are going to be constantly coming on the market. That's another reason why I don't like to buy stocks with massive amounts of overhead supply, because a lot of times people will buy a stock, it'll go down 20%, and they'll be like, oof, it's down 20%. It'll come back. Then it goes down another 20%. And then like, you know what? It'll come back. And then it goes down another 20%. And then these people are like, you know what? If this stock ever just gets back to my break even, I am out. I'm done with the stock market. And then once the stock starts to work back up, again and gets to these people's break evens, they sell. So you have tons of overhead coming back on the market. But when a stock is in new high territory, I mean, that's blue sky. I mean, every investor's in profit. So it's kind of like a trout swimming upstream. You know, it's really, really hard for a trout to swim upstream if you're buying like one of these that's another great example with Peloton. For some reason, I've been getting a lot of emails of people saying, hey, you know, Tom, what do you think about Peloton? Number one, I can't advise on any of that, so I usually don't answer. But why would I buy something that's down 97% with all of this overhead supply, with a company that's dying, doesn't make any money, when I could buy any of these companies that just reported earnings? $23 billion they made last quarter, $22 billion, you know, a quarter. So no, I'm not going to buy Peloton. Now, I don't have anything against Peloton. I hope the company turns around. I hope everybody makes a lot of money, but I don't know. I think the company was a fad. Everybody bought these bikes during the pandemic. Now that the pandemic's over, does anybody really want to use a workout bike at home anymore? I don't think so. I think people want to go out and see people. Could be wrong, but oh, Peters. 3M went up big last week, went from 92 to 97. They're spinning off a healthcare subsidiary. That's actually really good news. Maybe it'll follow the same footsteps as General Electric. You know, General Electric, complete turnaround, mainly because they're chopping up the business. They're spinning up the business into 3 distinct segments. So ticker symbol GE is now General Electric Aerospace. There's a really good, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about spin-offs and how that could really save a company, there's a really good follow on X or on Twitter. His name is Jim Osman. Well, I'm just gonna plug in my phone. His firm is based in New York City, and he's like an expert in all of these spin-off deals. He thinks that Amazon is going to spin off AWS. I don't know about that, but we'll see. Hold on 1 second. It looks like some of the clouds are moving, which is good. Hey, go for hockey. It's Freddie's here. What's up? We're now at the new Penn Station, the Penn 2 project from Grenado. Let's go over by Herald Square. Oops. Doc 7 says Vornado announces earnings tomorrow. Well, good luck to Steve Roth and all of the shareholders. Little Bob says, can you hit a backflip for the city? You just missed it. We just did a backflip. That's why we were taking a little bit of a break there. Usually once we get to about like an hour and a half on the stream, we just take a little break. I bang out a backflip for everybody, and then we, kind of move on. So you actually just missed it. You'll have to come back tomorrow to see it. All right, let's head over to Koreatown. Man, New York City looks so beautiful. When it rains, you see all the taxi cabs line up around the new entrance to Penn Station. But they honestly did a really good job. This is the new entrance to the New Jersey Transit, Amtrak, Long Island Railroad. So things are moving in the right direction for the Penn District. For those New Yorkers, you know that this used to be a much, much different place. And this is a major, major improvement. So very optimistic on the Penn District over the next few years. Oh, look at that. Finally, the clouds are finally moving out of the way so we can see the spire of the Empire State Building. Let's go up one and around. I think Jennifer Lopez must have gotten like a crazy advertising deal, because literally that advertisement that you see right here is all over the city. It's in every single subway station. It's on every single, what do you call those, like Wi-Fi outposts? It's like completely blanketed the entire city. Now, once all these barricades, the scaffolding is down, this is gonna look pretty cool. Has the highest office vacancy in the city, right here at the Penn District. Hopefully this will spark a little bit of a resurgence. T3 says Trump landed 30 minutes ago. That's wild. So all of those people are going to be waiting at Trump Tower for over 2 hours. I mean, who knows? Maybe the line will grow even longer. But I think it's a little bit too long to wait. All right, we're headed towards 34th Street, Herald Square, the main Macy's. at this cannabis dispensary. Cannabis Co. Interesting choice of decoration, right? Hey, what's up? Now, there's a lot of these that have been popping up all over the city. Brian says you could probably see videos of Trump arriving. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd be waiting out in the rain for him, but it would definitely be cool to see, you know, former president or current president arrive. Now, I will say, I always, like quite frequently, I see Eric Trump a lot in Trump Tower. Like, he's like working like a normal person in Trump Tower. During lunchtime, he comes down and eats in the restaurant. I see him all the time. I probably see him like 8 or 9 times a year in Trump Tower. Ozzy says, how many people would wait and see Biden in the rain? Answer is 0. I don't know. If I was like, let's say if I lived in the neighborhood, which I did, right at the Essex house, and they're like, yeah, he's coming in 15 minutes, I'd probably run down there. Like, if you can get a picture with a, you know, president of the United States, I think that is pretty cool, more of like from a history perspective. Probably hanging up in the office or something. Regardless of political opinion, I mean, I couldn't be more different than Sleepy Joe. But, you know, is President of the United States. I get a picture with Donald Trump. I get a picture with Biden. I'd get a picture with Obama. Put it in the office, you know. But to your point, I wouldn't wait like 2.5 hours in the rain. I wouldn't wait 2.5 hours in the rain for anybody. I wouldn't come an inch towards Biden. No, I get that, and I get the people's political things. For me, it's more of like it's going to be a historical thing, right? It's kind of crazy. I mean, there hasn't been many presidents in the United States. It's quite possible you get a picture with 45, 46, and then 47 again. Who knows? Joel PM says someday Barron Trump will buy Barron's magazine. How hilarious would that be? All right, everybody. Let's see what's open. I kind of have my fingers crossed that there's like a bubble tea place open, because I think I may get a bubble tea. Endred says y'all are wild for worshiping these people. I'm not worshiping the guy. I'd say I'd get a picture with him and I'd throw it up on my office. I mean, come on, let's be real. That would be kind of cool. Like, let's say my kids, when I'm older, my kids come to the office, I'm like, hey, you know, daughter or son, this is your dad with the President of the United States when I was working in Manhattan. That's kind of cool. I don't need to agree with the guy's politics. It's honestly a piece of American history. Now, if it was like a senator or something, nah, has to be the president. You know, leader of the free world. I'm game. MD says Boba sounds great. It does sound great. I'll take you guys to one of my favorite spots. It's unfortunately closed, but sometimes they'll have like a one-off spot that's open till maybe like 12. This spot's good. Machi Machi. Someone says, what about AOC? If she becomes president, sure, I'm game. I'd say President AOC. Let's get a photo. I'll throw it up there too. I mean, please God, we don't get a President AOC. But if we do, I mean, that's my rule. If you're a president, you get, you know, I'm game for a photo, 100%. Abyss is Tom, will you network with the president? I hope so. I'll do business, I'll do deals with anybody. Well, not anybody. But yeah, former president, if in some weird event that a former president approached me to do a deal of some sort, like if they wanted to buy something or develop a building, sure. We'll see if the terms are favorable, and I'll do it for sure. Now this is that Sori Mara place. It's a second floor restaurant. This place is awesome. Nelson says the CPI is gonna maybe, so that's on the 15th, right? Yeah, looks like AOC is president. That'll be something for the ages. Yeah, it's definitely not going to happen. Although, actually, I'm not going to say that because you never know. I mean, how many people, honestly, like, okay, for real, thought we would ever have Donald Trump as a president? So anything is possible. I wouldn't be surprised at anything. And we just got to adapt to any outcome. It's possible. I mean, she seems to be very popular with the youngins, you know. Brian says, would you be willing for a cabinet job? Probably not. Hey, Trade Brigade, have a wonderful evening. Wishing you the best trading week ahead. Let's make it a profitable week ahead. Undecided says, I've met a few presidents. My grandmother worked in DC. Wow. Reagan and Bush. Man, that would be a... Hopefully you have a photo with President Reagan. That'd be cool. Now, you know which I only have a picture with one politician, and it's not really a formal picture with the guy. I was running the Long Island Marathon. This was a long time ago, and I was crossing the finish line, and Chuck Schumer, right, Long Islander, was giving all the people who finished the race like a handshake. So I was just shaking his hand before I crossed the finish line. Again, I'm not a big Schumer fan, but listen, if the guy's going to come out to the Long Island Marathon, you know, I'll give him a fist bump coming across the line, you know. So it's not a formal photo, it's just the photo that they took when I crossed the line. Schumer just so happened to be in it. But yeah, I mean, nothing else. I'm really not a big political guy. But I'm a big American guy. So I think anytime you have an opportunity to meet a president, current or former, I think you should take that opportunity. Now, isn't it so inspiring that the Empire State Building was built during the Depression? It's arguably one of the greatest pieces of architectural, I mean, in terms of the architectural integrity, probably one of the greatest buildings in New York, built during one of the toughest times in our history. Now, you know what's a piece of news nobody talks about anymore? And maybe they do talk about it, maybe I just don't watch the news. Everybody's like, whatever happened to that bridge that collapsed? Are we fixing that? Has that been fixed? I feel like that story just fell off the face of the earth. Oh, cool. Peter says, I met Biden when I was running for president in the 1980s. He came to Vanderbilt University, chatted with him for a few. Very, very interesting, very cool. The short guy just fixed it today. Mohammed, what's going on? Thanks for joining. It's starting to warm up, I can feel it. Be the Travel says, Tom, your neutral rationality towards politics is what's missing in today's irrational partisanship wars. Well, it's just that, like, I would say that I'm a conservative. I have conservative values, but I like to make money and I like to do business. And if you want to do business in New York, you're going to have to learn to deal with a lot of liberals, and that's fine. I just don't see what the big deal is. Just you vote the way you want to vote, let people vote the way they want to vote, and that's it, man. That's all. If you want to vote Trump in November, you know, MAGA to you. You know, make America great again. If you want to vote for Joe Biden, go ahead. Whoever wins, move on. Things will be fine. You know, people have this, I think they have an irrational fear of who's in office. Generally speaking, things tend to work itself out, if you haven't noticed, right? When Donald Trump was elected, people thought the world was going to end. I was in college and I had professors that were literally, not making this up, they were crying because Trump won the election. And then when Biden won, you had conservatives freaking out, saying, it's the end of America, you know, pack it in, you know, no more USA, no more corporate profits. It's going to be a war on big oil, and none of that happened. If anything, we're currently going through one of the greatest technological transformations and bull runs in US history right now. It's happening currently. And big oil's made more money than they've ever made over the past year. So things will work itself out. Yeah, who dat Dave's like 37 trillion in debt. Yeah, I mean, there's problems, of course. I think we have the pandemic to blame for that. But I think in a more broad sense, the United States is very unique because we have individual freedoms in pretty much everything we do. So it's not one person or one guy that's gonna, change your life or make your life better. That's up to you. People make money under Democrats, people make money under Republicans, and life goes on. And there's always uncertainty. There will always be uncertainty all the time. Okay. Many people, they argue, and I would agree that these are unprecedented times. We've never seen anything like this before. And it's like yes and no. Think about during the Cold War. Everybody had a real fear of, oh my gosh, New York City is going to get nuked. There's going to be nuclear fallout, nuclear war. So there's always going to be something to worry about. And that fear keeps people from taking risk. Chances are if you ever asked a friend or something, hey, what do you think about the market? Or hey, what do you think about this? They're like, it's a little bit too crazy. I'm going to wait until this is over until I can get back in. Or I'm going to wait until things die down before I apply for that new position. Let me tell you something. It'll be something else. Okay? Once this war in Ukraine is over, it'll be something else. It'll be another war. It'll be something else. It's a never-ending cycle of things to worry about. You just got to do what you got to do. You have to be in the market. You have to be taking risks. You have to be taking chances, because there will always be something to worry about. And it's been like that since the turn of time. So focus on what you can control. Try to make good decisions every day to move the ball down the field, to chasing whatever goal it is you want. And that's really about it. It's been like that forever. I mean, think about how much uncertainty there was on 9/11. Think about how much uncertainty there was on 9/12, the day after 9/11, right? I mean, people were like, oh, New York City is never going to be the same. Nobody's ever going to want to live in Lower Manhattan anymore. Then guess what? Time passes, things heal, and life goes on. It's like that forever. Sorry, I'm just checking something here. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that's another, I mean, think about that. NBA allies is so much fear and uncertainty during the financial crisis. It's totally true. The world's a big, scary place. There's always going to be something to worry about. But it's a tale as old as time that American exceptionalism is real, regardless of what anybody wants to say. We have individual freedoms, individual property rights for anybody who wants to come here. And a lot of people are coming here for a reason, right? You don't see people, storming the border to get into Mexico, to get into Canada. Everybody wants to come here because it's the best place to start a business. It's the best place to start a family. It's the best place for prosperity. Peace, relative peace, and we have the greatest neighbors on earth. I mean, I think that's not talked about enough either, right? just from a geopolitics or standpoint. I mean, coast to coast, we're surrounded by water, and then we have the best neighbors on earth. We have the Canadians and we have the Mexicans. It's like, what more could you ask for? I mean, it's like so strategically placed and perfect. It's like it's not even real. So it's awesome. It's freaking amazing, this place. All right, guys, it's raining again. I think this is a good place to call it. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight on this rainy Sunday night in New York City. I wish everybody a wonderful and successful and prosperous week ahead. Fingers crossed it'll be a little bit less volatile and a little bit less crazy now that we have the Fed out of the way. But we'll cover it every step of the way right here on Walks in Wall Street. So be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe if you are new here. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and wishing you all the best. Take care and be well. The rain's really coming down now. All right, sunshine after rain, appreciate it. Austin City Limits, Kimberly, Lark, Muhammad, MD, Dale, G. Raymond, John, NAV 407, Peter, New England Crypto, Gary Miller, Tatted T, TK Porsche, Abdullah, Joe Driver. Always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. Signing off from New York City. See you tomorrow.